Hey there. So I just want to talk real quick with everyone today about herbs. Some of you know that I've signed up for a summer herbal program, and it's been really fun and interesting. I'm getting ready to go to my second class this weekend, and we are talking about energetics of herbs. So most of us think about herbs as a way to heal the body, but we don't think about how it energetically affects us and how we actually digest the herb and what it does constitutionally. So today I actually pulled 5 different herbs, and interestingly enough, when I did a little bit more researching on them, I found that I had pulled all astringent herbs. So I'm just going to read a quick definition here of what exactly astringent is. An astringent acts to contract and tighten, similar to a styptic. This constricting action can help eliminate secretions and hemorrhaging. And then we have some examples here. So I pulled slippery elm, hydrangea, capsicum, yarrow, and plantain. And these herbs act a little bit differently within the body, and as again with everyone's constitution, how they act energetically. So slippery elm comes in capsules, it comes in a powder, it comes in a liquid tincture as well. So there's lots of different ways to get these into your pet and different ways to use them. So slippery elm here is fantastic for the digestive system. It's really great as a nutritive food as well. And I actually pulled some out of a capsule and I put some in a jar here, and we'll rehydrate it in a minute. So this is a really good nutritive food as well. So if maybe you have an animal that has some digestive issues and maybe they're not eating very well, this you can rehydrate with some water and feed it to them either along with their food or by itself to really help soothe that intestinal inflammation. Hydrangea is the next one I pulled here, and hydrangea is fantastic. It's really good for the urinary and kidneys, and it can be helpful with dissolving stones as well. So we do know cats and dogs sometimes have urinary stones, kidney stones, things of that sort. Capsicum is the next guy here that's on the table, and capsicum I pulled just because I wanted you to also see a difference. You can see the variation in color. Each of these herbs can have a different color to them. So capsicum or cayenne is often used for circulatory. It's sometimes used for internal issues such as ulcers or bleeding, and it's a little on the spicy side. So it's not for everybody. If you kind of have a hot constitution or you run warm, sometimes cayenne or ginger or some of those spicy herbs, they don't do well for you. You need something on the cooling side. Yarrow's the last guy here. Yarrow is awesome for, again, respiratory as well as some stomach. It is very helpful for reducing fevers. Most often how we think of yarrow is using it topically. So maybe you've had a wound or you were outside working in the yard, and yarrow is fantastic to have as a plant in your yard. So if you cut yourself, you can actually go over and take a stem or a leaf and chew it up and actually put a poultice right directly on that wound, and it stops the bleeding pretty quick, if not instantly. Capsicum, you can also do that. You could open a capsule and put it directly on a wound, but I will tell you it's going to burn. It will stop the bleeding pretty quickly. If that is the only thing you have in your house, you use it. But if you're outside and yarrow's around and it's abundant, you use the yarrow. The last one here that I pulled out is plantain. So this is just a little bit different. It is actually in a leaf form, so this is a bulk leaf. And this guy, you can make a tea out of it. It's fantastic for healing the skin and wounds. It is also good for internal stomach issues. Many times though, if you have some skin abrasions or maybe a sunburn has happened, you can also put this into an oil and make an oil infusion and then make a salve out of it. So that's really popular. Plantain is another one that's always in our yard. If you don't know what it is, I would suggest doing a quick Google search and finding out what it looks like. Plantain is fantastic for bee stings, any kind of bites like mosquito bites or anything that you might get a welt from. So you, again, can take that leaf, chew it up, make what they call a spit poultice, and actually put it right on that sting or that hive or that area where you were bit. Especially bees, it'll actually pull the bee venom right out of that sting area for you pretty quickly too. So again, it's working on that skin and that tightening and toning actions that is really helpful. I've seen it do awesome things on wounds and bite marks and things of that sort. So again, fantastic to have around. And if you know what it is and if you know what's in your yard, even better. So here is the slippery elm. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. We'll give it a little swirl here, get it all mixed together. And it almost, once it rehydrates, it's going to make a paste. And that paste is really easy then to mix in with what you have at home or a food. And it almost looks like if you guys do pumpkin or dehydrated pumpkin, it gives us a texture such as that. So you can see here it's starting to mold, and as it soaks it up, you can almost make like little treat balls out of it. But this has been really actually helpful with my husky, who is going to be 15 this summer, and she's having some digestive issues, but she eats this. So we make a little bit up every day. We add it to her food. We mix it even with goat's milk. So you can see how here it's adds a little bit of fiber there, but when it's ingested, it will help coat and soothe that stomach. So you can see here, and you can play around with it. You can make it as thick or as thin as you need to for your pet. And that is slippery elm rehydrated. So again, if your pet doesn't want to accept it this way, it does come in a liquid tincture, glycerin, or a capsule. Sometimes the sneaky ways to get it in is the best. But again, it has a good taste to it. It doesn't taste bad. It's good nutrition. It has tons of trace minerals and trace vitamins to it. Always a great thing to have on hand, especially if you have a dog that maybe has some digestive issues or it's getting a little bit older. One of my favorite things to have here. So as you can see, we have a good lineup of the different astringent herbs. There's a lot more. They all have different other properties besides just astringent. It just so happens that that's what I pulled today, so I thought that would be fun to talk about. And herbs are always great to have on hand. You can really do a lot with them, especially in time of need or an emergency, and especially if you have a little bit more time to play with them, or go pick some yarrow and maybe try it on a wound and see exactly what it does. You'll become more familiar with it. You'll remember it a lot faster the next time something happens as well. So again, I really love herbs. It's a really fun class. Over the summertime, we have one classroom day, and then we go out to different metro parks, and we're learning about the things that are in our environment. So it's always nice to see what we have growing in Michigan and how we can use those to our benefit. And then again, of course, the energetics. So is the herb drying? Is it cooling? Is it going to add moisture? Is it, how does it affect in the body or for our cat or dog? So that's all part of our consultations that we do here as well. So herbs, again, awesome thing to have on hand. If you have any questions, feel free to stop in.